What is going on, traders? We got a lot to talk about. It's not looking good for the market, and we have to address it. Before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So, in my last video, I put out the Batman signal, all right? I put out the Batman signal for you guys to let you guys know that it's about to get real in Gotham, all right? Unfortunately, Batman didn't show up, all right? He didn't show up. Gotham is in shambles right now. And so we have to talk about the possibility of more downside from this point on. A lot of you have been asking me, are we going to continue to see downside from here? And I am here to let you guys know that it is very much possible that we see downside from this point on. And so in our last video, I warned you guys, I let you guys know that one of the Fed members said that there is, well, she didn't say there is, she said December should be the last rate cut. And a lot of you, of course, had your doubts. A lot of you said I was looking too deep into it. I was taking it too literal. And I appreciate all the feedback. But like I said in the last video, some news you just don't ignore. Some news you just don't take lightly at all. Why was that news so important? Well, if we think about 2024, majority of 2024 was pumping because of rate cuts, or that was at least one of the reasons why the market was pumping. And so when you have a Fed member double down and say, okay, December should be the last rate cut, you don't take that lightly. You don't take that with a grain of salt, especially when you have multiple Fed members speaking that same day, right? And so today we had non-farm payrolls, and it seems like a lot of retail traders misunderstood non-farm payrolls. I've seen people say that, oh, they came in, non-farm payrolls came in strong and the market is overreacting. No, the market is reacting like it should. Okay, like I said in the last video, if non-farm payrolls comes in strong, then that pretty much double down on what Bowman said. If they come in weak, then it contradicts what she said, right? Then there is a possibility for rate cuts, and non-farm payrolls did come in strong. Okay, so we have to take that seriously, and obviously the market took it a lot more seriously, and so we have to talk about it, right? So triple Qs. So right now we're looking at the triple Qs for our time frame. As you guys can see, we have created lower highs and we have officially created somewhat of a lower low, right? We have our high here, lower high here, another lower high here. We broke below the symmetrical triangle. Now, granted, we are holding a key level of 503. We bounced off of 503, but right now we are pretty much stuck between a rock and a hard place. And so what I will say is that there is somewhat of a reversal pattern here. We could potentially see a little bit more upside, but like I said in the Discord, I am not taking any upside that we get seriously until we get above 515. If we get above 515, then we're looking at a move towards 518. After that, you're looking at a move towards 520. In regards to downside, it is looking like we could see a move towards 492. And I said this in our community tab. Feel free to check it out. It's completely free. I've said this in the community tab that it's looking more and more like we're going to see that move towards 492. Now, why 492? Well, we go to the daily time frame, and as you guys can see, we have not one but two gaps around this level. Okay, and of course, a lot of you, well, not a lot of you, some of you commented on the community tab and said that's not going to happen and everything like that. But I'm here to tell you guys that it's very much possible the market can see more downside. All right, I know we like to be perma bulls, we like to, have all the faith and hope in the world and things like that. But this is why it's important not to have a bias. Okay, and this is why I'm glad I'm not a perma bull or a perma bear, because I can see both sides. Okay, if the market gives me a bullish sign, best believe I'm going to take that sign. If it gives me a bearish side, I'm going to take that sign. But it's very hard to see the opposite side when you are too tunnel visioned on one side. All right. Now, if it's working for you, if it's making you profit, by all means, continue to be a perma, whatever. But for me, I think being biased, not biased, but being neutral has helped a lot as a trader because you're allowed to see both sides. And so if the triple Qs gets below 503, you're looking at a move towards 500, 499, give or take. If after that it gets below 498, you're looking at a move towards 495. After that, you're looking at a move towards 492, which will be your gap fill. All right. So right now we have broken below the symmetrical triangle. We have closed below the symmetrical triangle. And one thing about Fridays and Mondays, and we haven't said this in quite some time, Mondays typically mirror Fridays. Now, if you're new to this channel, you don't know what that means. It simply means that usually majority of the time, historically, when the market is bullish on Friday, that means Monday is most likely going to be bullish. If the market is bearish on Friday, then most likely Monday will be bearish. Now, me personally, I don't think we're going to see much action on Monday, considering just how big of a move we had between today and I believe yesterday open, futures open. So I do think I wouldn't be surprised we see just a little consolidation on Monday, and then we start getting CPI data, and we continue to get our whatever move from there, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. And so right now, again, things are not looking too good. We look at the SPY, pretty much the same thing. We broke below our symmetrical triangle. There's also a descending triangle here. I put this in the community tab as well. So you got two patterns right here. So you got your descending triangle right about here. You broke below the neckline of the descending triangle. And right now, it's not looking good once again. I'm going to get rid of this because it's a bit too much. But again, right now it's not looking too good. So what are our key levels that we talked about in our last video? 584. Well, 586 and 584. I told you guys we get below 584, you're heading towards 580. You get below 580, you are cooking. You get below 578 right now. It looks like I want to say 578. You get below 578, let's say 577 to be safe. You're heading towards that gap fill of 576. Now, why 576? You go to the daily time frame and you have not one but two gaps, just like we saw on the triple Qs. Now, the question of the day is, are we going to see a bounce from there? Me personally, I think it's very much possible that we do see a bounce or some type of dead cat bounce from 576, but I wouldn't marry the idea that we're going to head towards all-time highs or anything like that. If we get below 578, I've said this before, if we get below 578, there's a good chance that we can head as low as the 560s. I know that's hard to believe, but a lot of you have doubted me when I was bearish like 2 weeks ago on the market when we were all the way at like 608, 604. So I'm telling you now, it is very much possible that the SPY can head towards the 560s. Now, why the 560s? Okay, why the 560s if we get below 578? Again, if, right? There's a gap all the way down here at 565, 564. Not only that, but there is a lot of support down here. So if I wanted to be bullish on the market all over again, I think this will be a great spot to be bullish. I mean, look right here, okay? Rejection here, like multiple rejections here in this area. So I would love for the spot to revisit this area. I don't know when it's going to happen. It may not even happen, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen, okay? At some point in time, the spot is going to pretty much correct itself and possibly head as low as the 560s. And so I think this is a beautiful buying opportunity if we head this low. Now, if you are a perma bull and it's hard to believe that the market is going to drop further, I'm not mad at it or anything like that. By all means, do what works for you. But you should be excited, right? You should be excited that the market is dropping right now. Why? Because that gives you better buying opportunities. I never understood why bulls get mad at someone for being bearish, especially when that person has been right a lot of the times or most cases, right? I never understood that. Like, if you are a perma bull, what do you want the market to drop so that you have better buying opportunities or even better trading opportunities? Because right now contracts are juiced to the moon, right? So I think that's really crazy to be mad at someone for being bearish if you would want the market to drop, right? So that's just my thought process. That's my little rant, but that's what I'm looking at for the SPY in regards to downside. Now, in regards to upside, right here, okay, I said this in the Discord. I'm not convinced on any upside until we get back above at least 586. Okay, 586, 587, give or take. You get above 587, you want to see a move above 590. After 590, you're looking at 592. You get above 592, there's a good chance you're heading towards that level of 598. You get above 598, we can definitely start leaning a little bit more bullish and leaning towards previous highs, if not all-time highs. We'll talk about that if we ever get to that point. But right now, again, things are not looking good. Now, again, you can argue that this is a reversal hammer pattern, and maybe Monday we do something like this where we just, head up back, retest 584, 585 before seeing another leg down, or we may just, burst straight through here thanks to CPI data or whatever and head higher. Very much possible, but to me, I'm not saying that that is going to be the case. We'll see. All right. So that's what I'm looking at in regards to the SPY. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin. So, I mean, I really don't have much for Bitcoin. I don't even know why I said it. Like I had so much to talk about in regards to Bitcoin. But you zoom out, okay? You zoom out, and you still have this head and shoulders pattern. You got your shoulder here, head here, another shoulder here. Your neckline held at around 92K. Me personally, I would say 90K. But once again, guys, I said this in the last video. You get below 88K on Bitcoin, it gets very, very bad. All right. It gets extremely bad. All right. You get below 88K. If that just so happens to happen over the weekend, you can definitely assume that the market is about to drop even harder. All right. Very illiquid down here. Very illiquid all the way towards about 75K if you get below 88K on Bitcoin. All right. So if you're bullish on Bitcoin, you do not want to see this happen. Now, me personally, I think 75K is an absolute beautiful buying opportunity for Bitcoin. That's just me. All right. But again, this head and shoulders pattern is not looking good. It's looking pretty strong right now. I just find it hard for this not to play out. Now, one way that this can't play out is because everybody is seeing it. I'm sure like half the universe is seeing this pattern right now. So typically, institutions see stuff like that and they're just like, yeah, let's do the opposite. So very much possible. But the measured move for this head and shoulders pattern, you measure from the top of the head. I show you guys how to do this all the time. To the bottom of the shoulder, you bring it down to the neckline, and there you go. Your measured projected move is all the way towards 76K. All right. If you break the neckline, and especially if you break 88K. All right. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin in regards to downside. Now, in regards to upside, again, until Bitcoin gets above 100K, there's not much to talk about. If it can get above 103K, there's a lot to talk about. Okay, we're it's gonna get crazy if that happens. Okay, so that's what I got for Bitcoin. Nvidia, man, this thing got destroyed. Sheesh. Okay, so as long as Nvidia stays below 137, you're pretty bearish. Okay, you're pretty bearish on this thing. What you want to see if you're trying to be bullish on Nvidia is a move back above 141. You get above 141, you're looking really, really good. Until that happens, there's not much to talk about. Now, if you manage to get above 141 for whatever reason on Nvidia, you have this very illiquid area right here, all the way towards the 150s. Okay, you get above 150, you're heading towards previous highs at around 153. You get above 154, then chances are you're heading towards the 160s, 165. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for Nvidia in regards to upside. Now, I told you guys before, I've said this multiple times, that I do think at some point in time Nvidia is going to head towards the 120s. And it's looking like that's going to be the case. All right. As long as Nvidia stays below 137, I would say 141 is really more important than anything. As long as it stays below that, there's a good chance that you are going to start making your way towards the 120s. But we do have key levels before that. So 132 is one of your key levels. After that, 127 is your main level that needs to be held. All right. We've seen multiple rejections. You see it right here. You got like 3 rejections from this area. So if these guys down here get stopped out of their position, pack your bags. All right, pack your bags. The house is on fire. Grab the kids, grab the spouse, get you some Capri Sun, some fruit snacks. You're going to the Earth's core. All right, you're going to the Earth's core. House is on fire. You're done. All right, you're cooked. All right, so 120 for Nvidia if it manages to break below 120. We'll say, actually, what is this? It's about 127, 125. We'll say 125 if we want to really be safe. But yeah, Nvidia, regardless, just doesn't look good until it gets back above 141. All right, so let's look at some more stocks. Let's look at Meta. Meta. So Meta has a huge, and I think I mentioned this in the last video, a huge rising wedge pattern. All right, huge rising wedge pattern. This thing does not look good. So one thing I wanted to see from Meta today, if I wanted to be bullish, or if you wanted to be bullish, is a move back above 632, and that failed. Bears are very much present in this area. I mean, look at all these bearish candles all the way up into the 630s. And so we saw Meta reject this area multiple times. It tried to break above. As long as Meta stays below 630s, this thing can head much lower. Now, what I will say is that we want to see Meta get back below 610. It gets below 610. You're heading to 607. It gets below 607, and you're heading towards 600. Pretty easy. You get below 600. I would say 597 to be really safe. It gets below 597. Pack your bags. All right, pack your bags. Gotham is done. Batman is not showing up. Your dad is not coming back home with that milk. We talk about that. That's an inside joke for those original original viewers. But yeah, dad's not coming back. All right, he's not coming back. Domestic violence across the market. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for Meta in regards to downside. In regards to upside, 532. It gets above 532. Chances are you're heading towards 540. I keep saying five. I'm sorry, 640. It gets above 632, you're heading towards 640, and then from there you can start looking at all-time highs for Meta. Tesla, Plain and simple, Tesla, I think is going to head lower. What the heck happened here? Oh my gosh. We're not gonna talk about it. All right, we're just gonna ignore what we just saw there. But Tesla does not look good, guys. Okay, simple as that. It just does not look good. It finally broke this trend. It's been breaking this trend, but it tried to reclaim this trend and it broke down all over again. 360. All right, 360 is where I think Tesla can potentially go from here. If Tesla manages to reclaim 402, then you can look at a move towards 410. After 410, you're looking at a move to 412. It gets pretty tight in that range. And then after that, if Tesla manages to get above 426, 427, give or take, chances are you're heading back towards the 430s, somewhere around 430, 450. But right now, Tesla does not look good. If Tesla gets back below, well, breaks below 490, I mean 390, chances are you're heading towards the low 370s. 390 and hold. Okay, so it needs to hold below 390. I would say 389 to be safe. Chances are you're heading towards the 370s, if not the 360s. Somewhere between 362. Well, we'll say 360 psych levels, 368, right where these guys are. All right, so right here. Okay. So I do think Tesla is going to head towards the 360s. It's just a matter of when. But yeah, I think Tesla is looking pretty bearish. If it does get a pump, I still think we're going to see 360 at some point in time. We never retested this area right here. Tesla just left this area and never came back to retest it. So at some point in time in the future, I do think Tesla needs to retest 360s. And me personally, I think that's a nice little buying opportunity. But we'll see how the market looks once we get there. All right. So that's what I'm looking at for Tesla. Apple. Um, wow, Apple dropped like a madman. All right, so we zoom out. I'm actually surprised about Apple. I'm not gonna lie to you guys because up here is very liquid. So I thought at least the market would give it one more bounce. But that didn't happen at all. Apple just continues to fail, and yeah, and so we broke below our rising wedge pattern. What I will say is that Apple has the potential to bounce from here. I wouldn't say a massive bounce or anything, but if the market just so happens to get a dead cat bounce for whatever reason, you can see a move back towards 245, maybe 250 being the highest, and then we see another leg down. Now, if Apple breaks below 225, guys, yeah, pack your bags, pack, just sell everything. Okay, sell the house. All right, it's over. Your house is on fire. Okay, if you're bullish, if you're bearish, yeah, you're getting a Lambo. All right, you're getting a Lambo. You're getting a Maybach. You're getting all that. Okay, Apple just does not look good, especially since we broke back below this rising wedge once again. We broke below it before. Now we're doing it again, but with a more convincing move. So Apple does not look good. So as regards to downside, okay, in regards to downside, Apple needs to get below 236. It gets below 236. 235 will be your psych level. After that, you're looking at 233. And then after that, you're looking at about 230. If Apple gets below 225, we're pretty far away from that, so we'll not focus too much on that. But if it gets below 225, we'll definitely talk about the potential for way more downside. All right, way more downside. Okay, I already got a target in my head, but I'm not going to mention it now because people think when I say my targets, I mean it's going to happen like the next day. All right. One thing I failed to mention on Nvidia, um, so 133 is a key level and 131 is another key level as well. I don't think I mentioned that. 131 is obviously a key level, and then if you get below 131, we'll say 130 psych level. Yeah, you're heading towards 127. You really want this area, these guys to hold right here on Nvidia. So that's what I have. Again, rising wedge, not looking too good. Okay. So that's what I have for Tesla, Nvidia, Apple. What else? IWM. The Russell. Like I said in the last video, the Russell has is one of the most sensitive stocks or ETFs when it comes to news. All right, ETFs, indices, whatever, when it comes to news. So right now, as long as the Russell stays below 218, you're pretty bearish. All right, you are bearish. If it gets below 215, you're heading towards 212. After 212, you're looking at a move towards 210. It gets very illiquid in this area around 210, so you can start heading as low as 207 on the Russell. So definitely be on the lookout for that. As long as it holds 215, it's probably going to trade within this range between 215, 218. We'll say 220, give or take. But yeah, Russell not looking too good. You can argue that this is a head and shoulders as well. I wouldn't be mad at you if you disagreed. I mean, it's not the cleanest you will see thanks to that little gap right there. But yeah, you can argue that that's a shoulder, another shoulder, and then you have like this weird head going on right here. But yeah, Russell's not looking too good. Your neckline is at 215. For me to be bullish on a Russell, it needs to reclaim 222. Until that happens, pretty bearish on this thing. Like I've said in multiple videos that whales have been loading up puts on this thing like wildfire. So yeah, that's what I have for the Russell. SMH. I need you guys to lock in right here. SMH. You need to lock in for what I'm about to show you. SMH. Um, we go to the weekly time frame. Okay, we go to the weekly time frame. My lord, where is Batman? He's gone. All right, this is bad. This is the weekly time frame, by the way. This is a dark cloud cover if I've ever seen one. All right, if you don't know what that is, boom. That is a bearish pattern out of this world on the weekly time frame. This is bad. This is a terrible, terrible thing to see. Okay, I will say that much. Um, yeah, I I got nothing else. Got nothing. That- Man, yeah, I don't know. Spider-Man, somebody come save the day because that is bad. All right, that is very bad. Now, what I will say in regards to SMH. As long as it holds 244, I would say 245 psych level, somewhere around there. As long as it holds this range right here, there's hope. Okay, it is holding pretty well. I will say that much. You may see a bounce. Okay, you may see some type of dead cap bounce from here. Maybe you start filling out this liquid area all the way back to 243, 255, give or take, before seeing another leg down. But yeah, that weekly pattern that looks horrendous, guys. That looks terrible. Okay, that doesn't look good. All right, that does not look good at all. I already told you guys that the Discord we're in 220 puts, I believe for February. Yeah, not looking good. All right, not looking good for SMH. So yeah, um, yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. I don't know what else to say about that one. That's just terrible. Okay. I mean, it will take a lot, and I mean a lot for Bulls to break through this. Look, I mean, even not even just here, guys. Not even just here. I mean, look when you look back, look at the Bears in this area. I mean, let's boom. Look at boom. I mean, Bears are just wreaking havoc in this area. I mean, even here, right? Boom. I mean, you look, you do what you want with that information. You do what you want. I I'm not gonna be the one to tell you that Nvidia looks like it's going to crash based off this thing. You do what you want with that information. That doesn't look good at all. All right, so let's talk about the VIX. All right, so let's talk about the VIX. And then I'm gonna get you guys out of here to enjoy your weekend because I need a mental break out of this world. All right, so the VIX. The VIX. So someone asked me, do I think the SPY is going to drop to what was it, 574, I believe, in the community tab? I do. I just don't know when. Maybe next week. Probably next week. More than likely next week. Okay. If not next week, then maybe like February sometime. I don't know. But in regards to the VIX, so I want you guys to pay attention to this here. So look at the VIX. Look at the VIX. You obviously are looking at the VIX. What am I talking about? Anyway, yeah. So low, boom. You got a higher low. Boom. I mean, you got another higher low. The VIX is trying to push higher. Okay, it is trying. That's like a mid higher low. Okay, I will say that much. But the VIX is definitely trying to push higher. Yeah, not looking good right now. It's below a key level, but below 19. I want to say what is this? 20. Actually, it's 20. As long as it stays below 20, there's hope. But me personally, I think the VIX is going to try to break out of here. And it's not a good sign. All right. So I said in the last video, this area right here very, very illiquid. All right, all the way towards about 24, 23.8, somewhere around there. Very, very illiquid, and at some point in time, VIX is going to want to mitigate this area. Okay, so something to look out for, and it's looking like the VIX is trying to break out of here. I mean, you, I mean, you can't argue with this. You just can't. All right. Low, higher low, mid, higher low. I mean, this is not looking good. The VIX looks like it wants to break higher. This could be very telling for what's about to come in regards to CPI data. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah. So, last but not least, guys, I want to say thank you. You guys have been so supportive. I thought I was cooked off of that all-time high video, and you guys showed so much support. Of course, the trolls, they were there, of course, but it was the amount of support you guys gave, the overwhelming support in comparison to those guys, was astounding. I was truly amazed. I actually got way more subscribers off that off our last video than I expected. We are almost at 5K subscribers, so I just really, really, really appreciate it. I don't do this for monetization. Trust me, YouTube ain't paying that much for me to be that hype over. Yeah, I don't do this for monetization. I don't do this for some sub count or anything like that. I do this because I enjoy it, and I just really like to have some type of community, whether it's Discord or even YouTube, whatever the case may be. I do this because I enjoy it, and it keeps me busy. So I truly, truly appreciate all the supportive comments. I will not be making any more bold claims like that again. So I am really thankful the market was closed yesterday, because I probably would have got cooked way more than I would have if the market was open. Okay, so yeah, again, thank you guys for your support. I'll probably start doing some giveaways once we hit about 5K subscribers. We're pretty close to it. I think we're like 300, 400 away, something like that. But yeah, once again, thank you guys. You guys have been absolutely amazing. It's been a crazy journey. I hope to really provide value for the rest of 2025. I'm sure a lot of you have clicked off the video by now. So yeah, anyway, Discord link is in the description below if you want to see how we're going to trade the market. I do plan on putting out another video to show you guys what exactly whales are doing, because I know one of you in the comments is going to ask, it's always you asking, why haven't you showed what the institutions are doing? So I'm going to make a video about that. And I plan on making another fair value gap, a more detailed fair value gap video to help you guys understand how fair value gaps work. And that's all I have. Link is in the description below. Discord link is in the description below. Really proud of the community. We are growing very slowly but surely. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. I'm enjoying everything about it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Until the next video, traders, have a good one.